What happens when a Browns owner casually dismisses the most electric quarterback prospect in years, thinking nobody would notice? Coach Prime noticed, and his response just shattered every polite convention in professional football. This isn't just another father defending his son. This is Deion Sanders declaring war on an entire system that's been rigging the game against players like Shedeur for decades. The gloves are off. The truth is ugly. And what you're about to discover will change how you see every quarterback evaluation in the NFL.
We have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him.
Cleveland thought they could quietly sideline Shedeur Sanders while promoting inferior talent. They thought wrong. Because when you disrespect a Sanders, you don't just get pushback. You get annihilated on national television. The Browns owner's comments seemed innocent enough on the surface. Standard corporate speak about evaluating all options and letting competition play out naturally. But anyone who understands NFL politics heard the real message loud and clear. Shedeur Sanders, despite throwing laser-precise passes that would make Aaron Rodgers jealous, wasn't getting serious consideration for the starting role. This is the same organization that cycled through more quarterbacks than a carousel at a county fair. Since 1999, Cleveland has started 35 different quarterbacks. That's enough people to field an entire offensive roster with substitutes. They've elevated journeymen, drafted busts, and traded for has-beens, all while their fan base suffered through...
On Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur. I would say that's not happening, but...
2 decades of mediocrity. But when a generational talent shows up on their doorstep, suddenly they develop standards. Shedeur's numbers don't lie. His completion percentage in practice sessions consistently outperformed the veteran quarterbacks by 15%. That's the difference between a playoff team and a basement dweller. His release time clocked at 2.1 seconds, faster than 78% of current NFL starters. When pressure came, he didn't crumble. He improvised, he delivered, he led. But the real bombshell was still coming. The Browns weren't just overlooking Shedeur's talent. They were actively suppressing it. Internal sources revealed that coaching staff had been instructed to limit his first-team reps, despite him consistently outperforming the competition. It wasn't about merit. It was about maintaining a predetermined narrative. This is where the story gets personal, because this isn't just football politics. This is a systematic pattern that's plagued the NFL for years. Dynamic, confident quarterbacks who don't fit the traditional mold face an uphill battle that their bland counterparts never encounter. Look at the evidence. Lamar Jackson had to win an MVP before people stopped suggesting he switch positions. Cam Newton faced more criticism for his touchdown celebrations than his ability to read defenses. Jalen Hurts took the Eagles to a Super Bowl and still dealt with pocket passer questions. That's when things got personal. Deion Sanders didn't just see his son being disrespected. He recognized the same prejudice that's cost the league countless opportunities to embrace truly dynamic playmakers. This wasn't about entitlement. This was about equality of opportunity. They see swagger and mistake it for arrogance, Prime explained in a heated interview. They see confidence and call it cockiness. Meanwhile, quarterbacks with the personality of wet cardboard get handed starting jobs because they look the part. The numbers back up his frustration. Shedeur's passer rating in college exceeded 147.3, a mark that puts him in elite company. His touchdown-to-interception ratio of 4.2.1 demonstrates exceptional decision-making under pressure. These aren't inflated statistics against weak competition. These are results against top-tier defenses in high-stakes games. But Cleveland's decision-makers seemed more interested in maintaining the status quo than recognizing exceptional talent. The truth behind this snub runs deeper. NFL executives have created an unwritten playbook for quarterback evaluation that heavily favors traditional archetypes. Height, arm strength, and leadership intangibles often translate to preferring quarterbacks who fit a specific cultural mold. Innovation takes a backseat to familiarity. Shedeur represents everything modern football should embrace. He's mobile without sacrificing accuracy. He's vocal without being divisive. He brings energy that elevates his teammates' performance. In practice sessions, offensive linemen blocked harder when he was under center. Receivers ran crisper routes. The entire unit operated with heightened intensity. Yet somehow, this translated to limited opportunities and diplomatic non-answers from team management. The leaked practice footage tells a different story than the official narrative. While other quarterbacks struggled with basic progressions, Shedeur was making throws that required split-second timing and pinpoint accuracy. That's $15 million in annual salary difference between elite and average quarterback play. What happened next shocked everyone. Deion didn't just defend his son with words. He systematically dismantled the Browns' evaluation process on live television. He brought receipts, performance metrics, practice footage, testimonials from teammates. He turned what should have been a simple quarterback controversy into a masterclass on institutional bias. You want to talk about readiness? Prime challenged during a heated exchange with sports media. My son's been reading NFL defenses since he was 15. He's been preparing for this level of competition his entire life. Meanwhile, you're starting quarterbacks who needed 3 years to learn how to call an audible. The comparison is devastating because it's accurate. Shedeur's pre-snap recognition and post-snap adjustments consistently graded higher than the veteran quarterbacks receiving preferential treatment. But this confrontation revealed something more significant than individual talent evaluation. It exposed how NFL teams make decisions based on comfort rather than competence. This wasn't just about football anymore. Deion's response transcended sports commentary and entered cultural territory. He wasn't just advocating for his son. He was challenging a system that consistently undervalues players who don't conform to traditional expectations. Every generation of dynamic quarterbacks faces this same resistance, he explained. The league says it wants innovation, but when real innovation shows up, they find reasons to maintain the old ways. The financial implications are staggering. That's $200 million in potential career earnings at stake. Elite quarterbacks command premium contracts, endorsement deals, and long-term security. Average quarterbacks get labeled as bridges and stopgaps until better options emerge. Cleveland's hesitation wasn't just costing Shedeur immediate opportunities, it was potentially derailing a generational career before it could begin. The leaked conversation revealed Prime's real strategy. Sources close to the Sanders family revealed that Deion had been documenting every slight, every missed opportunity, every instance where merit was ignored in favor of politics. This wasn't an emotional outburst. This was a calculated campaign to expose systematic problems within NFL evaluation processes. The evidence was overwhelming. Practice performance data, statistical comparisons, testimonials from coaches and teammates. Shedeur wasn't just competitive with the veteran quarterbacks. He was demonstrably superior in every measurable category. Yet somehow, this translated to third-string reps and diplomatic deflections from team management. The implications are staggering. If Cleveland could overlook talent this obvious, how many other dynamic quarterbacks had been marginalized by similar biases? How many innovative playmakers had been relegated to backup roles because they didn't fit traditional expectations? Deion's confrontation with Browns management wasn't just about Shedeur's immediate situation. It was about forcing the entire league to confront uncomfortable truths about evaluation and opportunity. "This isn't 1985, Prime declared during his most pointed critique. "You can't evaluate 21st century quarterbacks with 20th century standards. The game has evolved. Your mindset needs to catch up." The smoking gun was hiding in plain sight. Internal communications revealed that Browns executives had expressed concerns about Shedeur's personality and fit within their organizational culture. These are code words that NFL insiders recognize immediately. They have nothing to do with football ability and everything to do with cultural comfort. The same organization that had tolerated questionable character from multiple quarterbacks suddenly developed strict personality standards when evaluating a supremely talented player who happened to come with confidence and charisma. But Prime wasn't finished. The systematic nature of this bias became clearer as Deion continued his public campaign. He began highlighting similar situations across the league, where dynamic quarterbacks faced additional scrutiny that their conventional counterparts avoided, unless this was all calculated. Some observers suggested that Cleveland's apparent dismissal of Shedeur might be strategic misdirection. Perhaps they were attempting to lower expectations, while secretly planning to elevate him when the timing was optimal. But Deion wasn't buying the strategic patience argument. "Talent this obvious doesn't require slow development," he countered. "You don't gradually introduce excellence, you unleash it." The comparison to other young quarterbacks entering the league highlighted the disparity. While some prospects received immediate starting opportunities despite questionable college performance, Shedeur faced intensive scrutiny despite exceptional metrics. One name surfaced that nobody expected. Behind-the-scenes sources revealed that former Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield had privately expressed support for Shedeur's readiness. This was significant because Mayfield understood firsthand how organizational dynamics could impact quarterback development. His endorsement carried weight because it came from someone who had navigated Cleveland's quarterback controversy successfully. If Mayfield recognized Shedeur's talent and readiness, it undermined the organization's claims about gradual development needs. The final piece fell into place. The real issue wasn't Shedeur's readiness or the Browns' evaluation process. It was the fundamental disconnect between what modern NFL success requires and what traditional decision-makers value. Shedeur represents the future of quarterback play: mobile, intelligent, charismatic, and unafraid to lead with personality. Cleveland's hesitation reflected their discomfort with that future, not any deficiency in Shedeur's preparation or ability. Deion's public campaign had successfully reframed the entire narrative. Instead of questioning whether Shedeur was ready for the NFL, people began questioning why the NFL wasn't ready for Shedeur. The long-term implications extend far beyond one quarterback controversy. Prime's confrontation with Browns management sent a clear message to every NFL organization. Systematic bias will be exposed and challenged. This wasn't just a father protecting his son's career. This was a former NFL legend using his platform to force institutional change. The league's decision-makers could no longer rely on subtle discrimination disguised as evaluation standards. Cleveland now faces a choice that will define their organizational credibility. They can continue defending questionable evaluation processes, or they can acknowledge that talent should transcend traditional comfort zones. But the damage to their reputation may already be irreversible. When a player as respected as Deion Sanders publicly challenges your judgment, every future prospect pays attention. Every agent takes notes. Every potential free agent considers whether your organization makes decisions based on merit or politics. The Browns' handling of the Shedeur Sanders situation will become a case study in how not to evaluate dynamic talent. Their loss becomes every other team's potential gain. And somewhere in Colorado, Coach Prime is probably smiling. Because when you challenge a Sanders, you better come correct with your evaluation. Otherwise, you get schooled on national television while the whole world watches. The quarterback revolution is coming, whether traditional NFL decision-makers are ready or not. Players like Shedeur represent the evolution of the position. Organizations can either embrace that evolution or get left behind while their competitors reap the benefits. This controversy revealed something crucial about modern NFL dynamics. Talent evaluation isn't just about physical ability anymore. It's about recognizing how leadership, charisma, and confidence translate to team success. Shedeur possesses all those intangible qualities, in addition to exceptional physical skills. Cleveland's failure to recognize that combination represents an organizational blind spot that could cost them for years. The ripple effects of this controversy will influence how every NFL team approaches quarterback evaluation. Deion Sanders just made systematic bias too expensive to maintain. The spotlight is too bright, the scrutiny too intense, the consequences too severe. Smart organizations will learn from Cleveland's mistakes. They'll develop more comprehensive evaluation processes that recognize dynamic talent regardless of how it's packaged. They'll prioritize results over comfort, merit over familiarity. Because in the end, football games aren't won by the most conventional quarterbacks. They're won by the most effective ones. And effectiveness comes in many different forms. The Shedeur Sanders controversy isn't really about one player or one team. It's about the future of professional football and whether traditional power structures can adapt to evolving talent. Deion Sanders just proved that they'll be forced to adapt, whether they want to or not. The old ways of doing business are no longer sustainable when every decision faces public scrutiny and systematic challenges. Cleveland may have started this controversy, but they definitely didn't finish it. Coach Prime had the last word, and that word was evolution. The NFL will never evaluate quarterbacks the same way again. And that's exactly what Deion Sanders intended. The revolution starts now. Subscribe so you don't miss the next shocking chapter. Because this story is far from over, and the next developments will reshape how we think about talent, opportunity, and justice in professional sports. The game has changed forever.